Next thing I'll talk about is quantum measurements, because we are moving towards our application. We want to know what is the application of quantum physics in quantum cryptography. So we'll introduce a concept of quantum measurement. So in general, what is a measurement, if I'll ask you guys? So if you have seen a car standing, you can measure its length. You can measure the length of a wall. So you can do many observations. You can do many measurements on a classical object, right? And there are various things you can do. You can measure anything incrementally. You can increase the precision of your measurement by infinite amount, right? So it depends on your observation equipment, how much precise that equipment is. So if you get a more precise equipment, you can increase the precision more. Similarly, in classical physics, uh, if something has a definite value of measurement, then after measurement that value is not going to change. So the length of a wall will still be the same after you did measurement on it. And also, anything that you are going to measure, like if you are going to measure the length of a wall, then uh, its value is already defined. So before you measure the length of the wall has definite length already. So these are the three properties of any measurement that you did in classical physics. But when we comes to measurement in the quantum physics, many of these things, many of the three principles that I just told may not hold. So we'll see all the observations, all the measurements in quantum physics as well. So to explain practically how we do measurements in quantum physics, and what is uncertainty principle. You might have heard about the uncertainty principle. I'll explain to you all this with the help of light polarization. So what is a polarizer, what is light polarization, I'll explain you in the upcoming examples. So my first question again, what is a light polarization? So every beam of a light has a feature called has a particular feature, it's polarization. So it is defined for any beam of light. So any beam has its particular polarization. So if you want to imagine what is the polarization, imagine it as an tail at the end of an arrow. Suppose an arrow is flying through the air, and it has a particular tail at its end. So its tail can be vertical and its tail can be horizontal, right? So if it's a flying arrow, so its tail can be vertical and its tail can be horizontal. So consider every beam of light as an arrow which has one of the following feature. Its tail can be a vertical tail, its tail can be a horizontal tail. So if the tail of the arrow is vertical, then we'll call it as vertically polarized arrow. If the tail of the arrow is horizontal and it's flying through the air, then we'll call the arrow as a horizontally polarized arrow. The same observations can be applied to the light. So if light has vertical polarization, vertical tail, we'll call it as vertically polarized light. If it has horizontal tail, we'll call it as horizontally polarized light. So to detect the presence, whether the light is horizontally polarized, whether the light is V pole, whether the light is H pole, that is V pole is for vertical polarization and H pole is for horizontal polarization, we can use a very simple setup. If we pass through the light beam, if we take the example of an arrow first, if we pass through a horizontal tail arrow to a setup which has horizontal plates, which a detector which has horizontal plates, so the spacing between the plates is very narrow and is horizontal. So if the arrow passes through that plate, we can say that the arrow has horizontal tail or it is horizontally polarized. Similarly, if we design a setup of vertical strips or vertical plates which has very narrow gap, which is in a vertical direction, and arrow passes through that setup, so then we can say that the arrow has vertical tail. So for this experimental setup, we need not need to see the arrow just by passing through it with that from the detector, the setup of plates. We can say that whether the arrow is vertically polarized or whether it is horizontally polarized. Is it that simple? Similarly, when we talk about light beam, right? So it can be V pole or it can be H pole. We can pass it through the similar detector, which we call as a polarizer. The polarizer also does the same thing. If I pass through a vertically polarized light, say, and to a particular orientation of a polarizer, and if it is not passing through it, right, and if I change that polarizer orientation to 90 degree, then that vertically polarized light should pass through it, but in that case horizontal polarized light will be blocked, right? So as per the orientation of the polarizer, only one of the specific polarization light will pass through it, right? So you now understood the concept of polarizers, and you must have seen these polarizers also. So when you go to a movie theater to watch a movie, a 3D movie, the glass the 3D glasses you wear are just nothing else, just the polarizers. So 3D effects make use of the light polarization. That is one principle. So how this polarization works, and what are the real life polarizers we have that we can use to separate V polarized light from the H polarized lights. So we can make use of calcite crystal. So calcite crystal is one such polarizer. uh, if you pass through a particular beam of light through the calcite polarizer, it separates them or it deflects them at a particular angle depending upon the polarization of a light. So if the light falling onto the calcite crystal is vertically polarized, it will be deflected and it will go up corner of the polarizer. And if the light is horizontally polarized, it will go in the lower side of the calcite crystal. So to detect the amount of light in a light beam is of what polarization, we can put light detectors at these particular angles. And if the light passing through the detector, if the detector at upper side of the calcite crystal is uh, blinking, then we can say the light is V polarized. If the detector at the lower side of the calcite crystal is blinking, we can say it's a H polarized light. So it is that simple. Yeah. So does every light has the only two polarizations, horizontally polarized or vertically polarized? No, it is not that concept. So polarization can be random, can be any. It can be between horizontal to vertical, any polarization. So if we see the sunlight that is coming directly from the sun, so sunlight has all the polarization inside it. So if we pass a sunlight through a calcite crystal, so and if we keep on rotating the calcite crystal, so at every angle we'll keep on getting the different polarizations. So that light will be splitted. So at every angle we'll get detectors to be blinking, because it has polarization of every angle inside it. So it's a mixture, it's a random mixture of every polarization the sunlight is, right? So to make you understand more the application of polarization that I am going to use in my discussion further, I'll introduce one more concept of polarization: depolarization and apolarization. What is the definition of depolarization? Diagonally polarized light and anti-diagonally polarized light, right? So if something is plus 45 degree from the vertical, right, if some light has its electrical vector, right, if its electrical vector is oscillating at plus 45 degree from the vertical, then that light will be called as diagonally polarized light. If the electric field vector of the light is rotating at minus 45 degree angle, then it will be called as apolarized light or anti-diagonally polarized light. What will happen if we pass this light through the calcite crystal? What we will observe? So the observation of passing this light through the calcite crystal is very interesting. What we'll observe is this calcite crystal will separate this beam of depolarized light into horizontally polarized and vertically polarized. Half the portion of light will go into the vertically upper side of the calcite crystal, and half the light will go to the downside, that is horizontally polarized light. So that is the observation when we incident depolarized light onto the calcite crystal. So why all this is happening? So to understand the phenomena, this is a very detailed phenomena, and itself is a research topic, that why is this dipole light be separated into two vertical components, that is two perpendicular components, horizontal light and vertical light. But yeah, this we can verify it experimentally. This usually happens. If we can remember, I told you about sunlight. If we fall sunlight onto the calcite crystal, it will be separated onto every angle, right? If I rotate the calcite crystal, at every angle we can detect horizontally as well as vertical light. But this depolarized light is not same as direct sunlight. There is a difference. If I rotate calcite crystal when a depolarized light is falling onto it by plus 45 degree amount, then the whole light will pass through the calcite crystal. It will not get separated into vertical polarized light and horizontally polarized light, right? If we fall sunlight, at every angle we will get vertically polarized light as well as horizontally polarized light. But when this depolarized light is fall through a 45 degree oriented calcite crystal, the whole depolarized light will pass through it. It will not separate, right? So there is some difference between the both. How can we understand the difference? What is the difference between a sunlight and a depolarized light? How they are different, and why I introduced this depolarized light also. So as I'm explaining here with the help of a diagram, how electric field vector in a depolarized light is behaving, right? So as you can see, at every instant of time, electric field vectors, right, in the horizontal and vertical direction are in coherence with each other, right? You can see at 0 fs, at 1 fs, at 2 fs, and at 3 fs, all of the four are in synchronization. That is, they are perfectly organized, right? So this nicely organized pattern of oscillation takes place in the V and H components of the polarization, in the V and H components of the polarization. Then this depolarized light get produced. It is not just simple as random mixture of a sunlight. When a nicely organized coherence pattern takes place between the E and the vertical and horizontal vectors, then only this D light will be produced, right? So this is the basic difference. Similarly, you can imagine the apolarized light, which is between the horizontal and downward, not 180 degree or reflection of the vertical polarized light. So the coherence between the two vectors, that you can imagine from there. So as I told, this synchronization behavior is called coherence. So as I told you before as well, we can separate a single photon. And we have tried incidenting this single photon onto a half silver mirror, and then there arises the ambiguity, that whether it will be reflected or whether it will be refracted. How it will decide, how the photons will decide? Will it be a random phenomena, or will it we are lacking some observations? We are lacking because in the classical physics, how we describe a random phenomena, like tossing a coin. So if we tossing a coin, and we are observing that if it's a head or a tail, it's a random phenomena, then at the back of our mind we have this concept like we are lacking the knowledge of how many revolutions it is taking in the air, and for how many time it will be taking the revolution. So because we are missing some basic calculations, we don't have the complete knowledge of the phenomena. The phenomena is random. But in the case of a photon incidenting on a half silver mirror, we have all the knowledge that we can acquire about photon. We know everything about it, but still we are not certain, we cannot decide that at which place it will go, it will be reflected or refracted. Similarly, let's try to follow a depolarized photon, or suppose a H polarized photon onto the polarizer. So if we pass this H polarized photon onto the calcite crystal, so if it is in the H polarized state, in the horizontal or vertically polarized, then H polarized will pass and vertical polarized will be blocked. If it is in vertical polarization, then vertical polarized photon will pass and horizontal will be blocked, right? So so if we are measuring the photon with the help of H or V H or V orientation, then it will pass, the H polarization photon will pass, or either the V polarization photon will pass. Similarly, if a depolarization photon, if you make a depolarization photon to fall onto the calcite crystal, will it pass? So because as I told before, H depolarization light beam will be separated into two light beams, a horizontally polarized and a vertically polarized. What will happen to the single photon? How it will behave, right? You can imagine a single d photon is falling onto the calcite crystal. Will it go to the horizontal polarization or will it go to the vertical polarization? We have seen in the case of a beam of light, half will go to the horizontal and half will go to the vertical. But a photon cannot be divided further, right? Einstein also had postulated this same thing. A photon will only be dealt as a whole. We cannot divide a photon further. Then what will happen in the scenario? At which detector, horizontal or vertical, which detector this photon will be detected? Right? Again, we are seeing this ambiguity in the quantum physics, which is different from the classical physics. So we have to revise our concept of randomness, that we are lacking some knowledge about the experiment, or we are lacking some knowledge about the phenomena, then only something is random. No, in quantum physics something can be random even we have all the knowledge about the setup, right? So randomness in quantum physics is a basic nature of quantum physics, right? That's I wanted to introduce this concept, that randomness in a quantum physics is very basic constituent of quantum physics, right? It is not that we are lacking any knowledge in the quantum physics, but it is at the basic level, at the very constituent level, that things are random in quantum physics. Okay. So now suppose I'll tell you that I'll give you a particular photon in a particular polarization. What are the all four polarizations? A photon can be horizontally polarized, a photon can be vertically polarized, a photon can be depolarized and apolarized. If I didn't tell you that which polarized photon I'm going to give you, and you have to detect it with the help of a setup, can you do that? Is it possible to detect a state of a photon or polarization of the photon with the help of any experimental setup? Let's try to do that. Suppose I have given you a particular polarization photon, and you have set up a H by H or V oriented calcite crystal, right? Suppose if the photon is V polarized, then it will go to the V polarized detector. If the photon is H polarized, it will go to the H polarized detector, so that you can know. And what you are getting is a V polarized detector is blinking, you are getting from the experiment. What you can now say about the state of polarization of the photon that I prepared and sent to you, you can definitely say that it's not horizontally polarized. It is not a H pole photon. But can you exactly say what polarization of the photon is? It can be V polarized, it can be depolarized, it can be apolarized, because depolarized and apolarized photon falling onto the HV crystal will also be randomly getting onto the vertical polarized or the horizontal polarized. So we cannot tell by experimental setup the state of a single photon, right? We cannot determine that. So what I'm going to introduce as a next concept in the measurement of inside quantum physics is quantum complementarity. What is quantum complementarity? So suppose I'm the same example, telling you to tell me the state of a photon that I prepared, the polarization of a photon, and what you have to do is you have to find out the exact exact polarization of the photon. First, what you can do is you can do H or V measurement, whether the photon is H polarized or V polarized, with the help of HV oriented calcite crystal, right? That will give either it will give V photon is V polarized or H polarized, right? But then at that case you cannot tell about whether it was depolarized or apolarized. You can only tell about H and V polarized. Suppose you are saying no, I will do further measurements. The resultant photon that will pass from the detector, I will further pass it to a D by A detector. What is D by A detector? Calcite detector, a calcite crystal detector, which will tell whether the photon was depolarized or apolarized, right? But if I gave you a depolarized crystal and you have passed it through a H or V polarized crystal, the state of the polarization has already been changed. It has now been converted either to the V polarized light or to the apolarized light. H polarized light. It is not same as the original photon. So if you do a sequence of measurement on the photon, that will be of no use, because the original state of the photon is itself modified. So that concept is called the quantum measurement complementarity, right? Remember this concept. We are going to use this concept when I will introduce the quantum cryptography. And this very nature of quantum single photon, that its nature cannot be detected, is very I will say the founding stone of quantum cryptography, right? So I have told you, like a single photon, if I'll prepare and send you, then you cannot determine its polarization with the help of any kind of measurement. Now suppose I am sending you instead of a single photon, 1000 photons of same polarization, but I haven't told you the polarization. But yeah, I have truthfully told you that all the 1000 photons are of same polarization. Now can you determine the polarization of the all the beam of the photon, that is 1000 photons together sent to you? Can you determine the quantum state of the quantum polarization of these photons? For 1000 photon, yes, it is possible. How you will do that? Suppose you have 1000 photons incoming to you, and you will put a H by V calcite crystal onto it. H by V calcite crystal will divide these photons into either horizontal or vertical. So if I have prepared some polarization, then first you will make out from it, like whether it is V polarized or H polarized. If you are getting V polarized, right, then you can definitely say it is not H polarized. H polarized cancel, you H polarization you can take away from it, right? And if half of the photons you are passing through H by V crystal and half of the photons you are passing through D by V crystal, and then changing the orientation of the crystal, suppose you are getting 100% 1000 photons. Suppose you have divided the beam of photons into two halves, 500 photons plus 500 photons, and you have passed these 500 photons onto a H by Weir oriented calcite crystal, right? If all the 500 photons passed through detected at V pole detector, you can definitely say that all the 1000 photons are V polarized photons, right? If only 250 photons are detected at V polarized and 250 are detected at H polarized, then you cannot say that why the polarization is D polarization or A polarization, but it is one of the either of the one, right? It can be D or A, but you cannot say confidently. So for that you can use half of the photons, right? You can put at 45 degree plus 45 degree from the vertical the remaining 500 photons, and you can pass through a D by A calcite crystal. If you are getting 100% photons detected at D polarized detector, then it's a depolarized. If you are not getting that, then you can say it is apolarized. So for thousand photons you can definitely detect this polarization. For a single photon it is not possible. Yeah, so this was the basic concept of light polarization and single photon polarization detection. Okay, so is it because I've told you you can detect 1000 photons, but you cannot detect photons, a single photon polarization. A scenario can come in your mind like, if what if I'll make 1000 copies of that single photons first, and then detect the polarization of that photon? It is very possible, because you can detect 1000 photons, and single photon polarization you cannot detect. So first let's put that single photon into a photocopy machine and take out 1000 such copies, and then do the calculation or the measurement on those 1000 copies. But as I have told you, like, with the help of any measurement on a single photon, we cannot correctly tell its quantum state. If we can tell one parameter of the quantum of the photon, then others are missing, which is very basic requirement for doing to making perfect copy of something. So to make perfect copy of something, you must know all of the information about that thing. You should know all its state. But in quantum physics, if you are making measurement on a particular quantum state, if you are observing its speed, then you can very much miss its position, and vice versa. So it is not possible to determine all the quantum states for a single photon. So that's why you cannot make perfect copies of the single photons as well. Hence you cannot make perfect copies, and so you cannot detect a single photon's polarization. That is also